So thank you for the invitation. Today, my presentation is entitled Traditional Crafts in Fez, an Art, a Heritage, and a Lever for Development. Sorry for my English, because I have the choice between Spanish and English. I have Spanish choice. After I have a choice between German and English. I have German choice. Okay. Through this title, you may understand that I will be focusing on four main points. Firstly, the crafts of Fez, a traditional urban art. Secondly, the handicraft product from Fez. Thirdly, the traditional crafts of Fez as an intangible and tangible heritage. Fourthly, the crafts of Fez are development lever to be valued and promoted. Morocco is by excellence one of the country where traditional craftsmanship continues to be practiced. It is maintaining exemplary authenticity and it's adapted to socio-economic and spatio-temporal changes. Today, Moroccan handicraft is not only safeguarded, but also appreciated and promoted because of its cultural, touristic, and identity-related values. In our presentation, we will highlight different dimensions of Fez handicraft, which is not only a traditional art, but also a cultural heritage and a lever for development. Our approach is descriptive and analytical of the traditional and lucrative handicraft production known in Fez, and among which we can cite ceramics, embroidery, brassware, leather goods, bookbinding, and woodwork. The different handicraft products of Fez include the art of clay, sledge art, woodwork, embroidery, and weaving, the art of adornment, the art of metal, leather, and book arts. We can hear sledge in sledge in Fez. This movable production would have always been the flagship cultural activity of Fez, now play a proven socio-cultural role, helping to preserve the regional identity and contributing to the economic growth and the development of the city and its surrounding area. We have link Jewish identity and Muslim identity in these crafts. Firstly, in the craft of Fez as traditional urban arts. The scientific community in Morocco approaches the subject of traditional craftsmanship by trying to delimit the boundary between art and craftsmanship on the one hand, and by distinguishing between rural and urban craftsmanship on the other. In fact, craftsmanship, especially its traditional section, is a branch of art. For this reason, the term traditional art is often used to refer to crafts, which are in turn described as traditional. As far as this distinction between rural and urban crafts is concerned, it should be noted that the form, also known as Berber art, is family-based and takes place in small village. It is mainly practiced by Berber-speaking craftsmen living on the plain in the Rif and Atlas Mountain and in the Sahara. It's applied to the majority of utilitarian objects made manually, carpet, pottery, jewelry, etc. It's adapted to the lifestyle and daily ordinary or exceptional concerns of rural people. We have here tattooing with carpet. Les mêmes signes sur le tapis, sur le
Yeah,
tatouage.
we have the same sign on the carpet and on the hand the tattoo of the person.
Okay. Yeah. And of the characteristic of rural crafts and tribal carpet in particular is that they use decoration and technical motif similar to those used in other arts such as tattooing, pottery, and even rock engraving. Sur les gravures rupestres. These are crafts products that reflect nature, the landscape, and local culture, while affirming the cultural identity of the tribes behind their production. Tribes, Zayan, Vinimigil, that you see, etc. That is the rural art. The second, urban crafts, have a social character and are practiced in town, more especially in the Medina, Fez, Marrakesh, Rabat. It differs from rural in the way it organizes its work, the technique, and types of product it produces, and the opportunity is offered for valuation and marketing. Being more accessible to researchers and decision makers, the latter has been more studied and highlighted than rural crafts. Urban craftsmanship is known today is linked to the imperial cities of the kingdom, more especially to Fez, Marrakesh, Rabat, and more or less Meknes. Each city come to have its own particular and even characteristic industry. Fez, however, remained the city of art by excellence. From it that the best craftsmen were in demand through the last century, and from it that they are still in demand today. Das ist from Henri Terrasse et Jean Hainaut. Il y a des chercheurs français qui ont travaillé sur.
This is a French researcher, that also worked on Fez, in fact.
Generally speaking, urban crafts are the result of the gradual building of town with the arrival of the Arabs in Morocco and in the Maghreb, Algerian and Tunisian. The Idrisids introduced the first element of Arab Muslim arts to Fez. under the Almoravid, Almohad and Merinid, the various cities were able to develop a Moroccan art from that become part of what is known as the art of the Muslim West, with specially Arab, Moorish and Andalusian feature. Il y a une différence entre l'art musulman de l'Est et de l'Ouest. Et pour le Maghreb, c'est l'art de l'Ouest qui a une influence de l'Andalousie.
Okay, so you have a difference between art from Muslim West and East, in fact.
Und das ist Andalusien. Pour l'Ouest, il y a une influence andalusienne.
And for the West, it's really an Andalusian influence, in fact.
Pour l'Est, ça veut dire c'est l'Iran et toute la partie de l'Est.
So in the East, we are talking about Iran, for example.
Under the Saadian and the Alawite, Moroccan art began to distinguish itself from the art of its North African neighbors under Ottoman influence. As with architecture, the decorative motifs that embellish the surface of city crafts, carpet, jewelry, ceramics, brassware, consist of geometric designs such as rosette, floral designs such as cantilevers, and calligraphy motifs that constantly evoke the Islamic religious dimension. Le décor, il y a trois, le géométrique, le floral et l'épigraphique. C'est les trois ici.
Okay, so the three motifs that they are working on are
géométrique,
geometric design, floral design,
and the troisième calligraphique.
The calligraphic one.
Sorry. Indeed, every form, every drawing, every chromatic range, every engraved wood, chiseled, sellige, or sculpted plaster predispose the believer to have Allah and the Prophet Muhammad permanently present in his mind. C'est un art musulman. The movable arts of Moroccan city can be divided in two groups. One on the one hand, in the art of wood, metal, ceramics, and leather, the Hispano-Moorish tradition dominant innovation. In fabrics, embroidery, and carpet, on the other hand, an imported decorative repertoire triumphs. Il y a deux influences, c'est clair.
Oui, c'est clair.
In the shaping of traditional crafts objects, three elements are needed: the availability of the raw material to make the object, the availability of a space that accommodates craft activities, and thirdly, the presence of a craftsman with ancestral know-how. C'est clair. Firstly, in terms of the availability of raw materials, Fez has a strategic location at the gateway to the Middle Atlas, which has enabled it to develop its crafts thanks to richness of its soil and neighborhood in terms of clay, lime, wood species, including Atlas cedar and cattle. The varied research provided by the soil of the town and surrounding area, salt, clay, building stone, lime, sand, together with cedar wood from the surrounding forest of Middle Atlas, ensured the growth of the town and the development of its crafts. Secondly, with regard to the creation of a space for crafts activity, the Ain Nuqbi Craft Center and the Benjliq Potters Quartier have restructured this sector by permitting to preserve the Médina. Il y avait les activités dans la Médine, mais ils l'ont transporté vers l'extérieur de la ville pour conserver la Médina ancienne.
Oh, okay. So at first we had creation taking place in the Medina, but in order to keep the Medina as ancient and preserved as possible, they moved the creation outside the Medina, in fact.
Merci. Thirdly, with regard to the presence of craftsmen with ancestral know-how, the city of Fez is full of different معلم, professional craftsmen, in working with clay, wood, fabric, metal, leather, etc. These معلم or professional craftsmen had acquired the necessary knowledge given that the transmission of each craft is done by apprenticeship in situ, especially within a family framework, even if this is not always the rule in the case of urban crafts. We can say that the craft of Fez is a traditional art that can be qualified by various attributes depending on its material, technical, manufacturing process or function. Moreover, the art of ceramic is both an art of clay and an art of fire. Ici, les différents arts pour donner une idée sur leur nomination. Parfois, on prend leur matière première ou par la technique, ou le processus ou la fonction. Par exemple, l'art de la céramique, c'est à la fois un art de l'argile ou de la terre, prenons la matière première, ou bien c'est un art du feu, parce que les cuits, on parle aussi de l'art du feu et de l'art de l'argile.
Okay, so you have sort of different attributes, yeah, that you can apply to an object. Depending on whether if it's on the material side, the technical side, the way it's done, even the way it's fired, for example, if we are talking about clay. And as Mohamed said, some can have like both or a few qualifications. You know, if you are talking again about clay, you can talk about an art which works with fire, right? You are firing it, but it's also really depending on the raw material, right? If you have the right sort of clay, etc.
Then there are the art of woodwork, boiserie, the art of book, calligraphy, and book binding, the art of weaving, carpet, and costume, the art of leatherwork, maroquinerie, the art of adornment, jewelry, and the art of architecture, architectural ceramic, marble, and wood. Secondly, handicraft products from Fez. Firstly, clay art, ceramic, and zlige. In Fez, ceramics are marked by blue patterns, unlike in Safir, Rabat, or Meknes, where other colors, yellow, red, and green, are found. This is also the case of zlige, where the predominant color is blue, known as cobalt blue. Fez continues one of the first traditional of Hispano-Moorish art. La céramique de Fez, il a deux caractéristiques. Il a une influence andalouse et il est connu par le bleu. Exact. Et l'influence est andalouse.
Yeah, so you can really identify Fez ceramic, clay art, by its color, of course. It's often blue, and also because of its influence on the Spanish side. Yeah, so it's really about a mix between Hispano and Moorish cultures.
The ceramists of Fez have left a legacy of beautiful tableware with geometric, epigraphic, and figurative plant decoration characterized by incision, stamping, enameling, painting with manganese brown and cobalt blue, and with enamel. toujours l'épigraphique, les trois, géométriques, épigraphique et figuratif, les décors.
So we really need to keep in mind the three type of decors that ceramic in Fez can have. So it's really about geometric, epigraphic, and figurative plant decoration.
So secondly, wood art. Wood is an organic material with an exceptional small as well as being used in the manufacture of doors and windows. It has a central place in the ceiling of traditional homes. Painted and sculpted wood is rarely used in furniture, where it only decorate shelves and sofa chests. Painted wood is often decorated with star shape polygon derivative of Kufic and braided in interlacing. Thirdly, art of embroidery and weaving. Embroidery is produced in Fez using special technique, namely gold and coated thread embroidery, known as Tarz al-Ghursa, is a name from embroidery. Oui. Costumes are worn for celebration and ceremonies, including the famous women's kaftan and the famous men jalaba and bornus. The Fez carpet is made from sheep's wool and hand woven by a craftsman known as the Raz. The operational chain include working the wool, weaving and braiding the fringes. It is made up of original intricate patterns and bright colors, including red, yellow, blue, and even green. The colors are based on indigo, henna, and beetroot. Voilà. Thirdly, art of metal, ironwork and brassware. Root iron is used to make a variety of objects, including candle, stick, lantern, mirrors, and wicker, raffia, and palm braids. The root iron remains faithful to the tradition of Andalusia. The spaces between the sample grade made from medium gauze iron are filled with thinner foliage. Brassware consists of making household utensils and furniture from brass, copper, silver, lead, and aluminium, etc. They place foreign steel bit to the rhythm of the hammers and in the Medina of Fez, even if the work of coppersmithing has also moved to Ain Nuqbi. Cette place qu'on a vue, ils ont gardé dans la Médina, mais la comme chose, c'est vers Ain Nuqbi, on l'a déjà.
So as we saw on the video, we saw this man roasting the copper. So this was in the Medina, but as we told before, as we said before, often the craftsmanship goes away from the Medina, right, to keep it intact, in fact.
Leather art. Moroccan leather has always been famous. Leather goods are the result of tanning, through which leather is obtained to make slippers, bags, and other furniture items. In fact, babouches are a symbol of typical Moroccan dress. Women's slippers, however, feature firm pattern and even long palm. These sumptuous adornment apply to velvet as well as leather, and is notable for its dazzling contrast of colors. Art of writing, illumination, and calligraphy. and the wall, the illumination remain in the Hispano-Moorish tradition, although there are traces of Eastern influence in the shape of some of the medallion and in some of the types of palm leaves. The floral decoration and foliage is used as filler. Calligraphy consists of Gothic and cursive writing. Ici, pour la calligraphie, il y a une influence maurée de l'Espagne et aussi de l'Est. Et pour les types de l'écriture, il y a ce qu'on appelle le Gothic et le cursive.
So yeah, you have two influences, of course, the Spanish, as we said before, influence, and the Moorish one. And calligraphy also consists of Gothic and cursive, so not only words, right?
Thirdly, the traditional crafts of faith are tangible and intangible heritage. Maintenant, on avait parlé du côté art de cet artisanat. Maintenant, on passe à un côté qui est la patrimonialisation pour que cet artisanat devienne patrimoine. C'est de façon sélective. Les productions ne sont pas toutes patrimoine, mais uniquement une partie qui va passer à être patrimoine.
Okay, so only one part of the craft is going to be on the heritage, right, of Fez. So this, the part that Mohamed is talking about, will talk about, is really how we make those crafts into the heritage.
Traditional handicrafts consist of a set of movable material objects. Their production is based on intangible knowledge and skills. Through the object they produce, craftsmen perpetuate ancestral skills that are embodied and expressed through a variety of raw materials. Le côté qui est patrimoine immatériel, ce sont les connaissances qui sont patrimoine immatériel. Et après, les objets, ils peuvent devenir un patrimoine matériel. C'est la différence.
Yeah. So the know-how is an immaterial knowledge, heritage, of course. But really the objects are what are going to be like the ancestral, like the representation of those ancestral skills.
Merci. It is for this reason that UNESCO considers traditional craftsmanship as one of the 5 domains in which intangible cultural heritage manifests itself. According to the Article 2 of UNESCO Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Heritage, 2003, the intangible cultural heritage mean the practice, representation, expression, knowledge, skills, as well as the instrument, object, artifact, and cultural spaces associated therewith. The intangible cultural heritage, as defined in paragraph 1 above, is manifested inter alia in the following domains. One from these is traditional craftsmanship. Quand on a fait le patrimoine immatériel, il y a 5 domaines. Parmi ces 5, c'est les artisanats traditionnels. Est-ce que c'était clair?
Je pense que c'était clair.
Okay. Even the 2003 UNESCO Convention is not more concerned with craft products themselves. It must be noted that the process of heritagization or patrimonialization allows crafts objects to become heritage and even museum objects, needing to preserve it and pass it on to future generation. It is why crafts objects that have been given heritage status and but only on display in museum can embody the value of both intangible and intangible heritage. Pour ce schéma-là, si il y a le patrimoine immatériel, on commence, ensuite il y a l'activité,
Ça découle,
ça découle, l'activité, et ensuite c'est l'objet, et ensuite on fait le processus qui va permettre que ces objets-là deviennent patrimoine matériel.
Okay, so on this graph you see how the logic flows. In fact, you start with an intangible heritage, immaterial as we can say, and then it goes all the way down to having an object. Really, we pass from an intangible heritage and knowledge to a craft object.
Patrimonialization and musealization enable traditional crafts to become object of tangible heritage. Now tangible. The crafts office had known this process with the creation of the Batha Museum and the Njarin Museum of Wooden Arts. Two museums in Fez, Batha and Njarin. The Batha Museum opened in 1915 in a palace built at the end of the 19th century. It included handicrafts made of wood, gypsum, clay, marble, bronze, jewelry, astrolabes, ceramics, embroidery, textile, metal, tools, manuscripts and rural objects. Ces objets maintenant, ils sont rentrés dans un musée, ils sont devenus du patrimoine, ils ne sont pas vendus comme les autres. C'est comme si on fait une distinction entre deux groupes d'objets. Certains entrent au musée, deviennent patrimoine, les autres sont vendus.
Okay. So some of the objects are already entered the museum now. So we really have a distinction between the object which can be sold, right, and the ones which stayed as a museum, and then they are really a heritage and they cannot be sold anymore.
As for the Njarin Museum of Wood Art, it provides an overview of the development of the wood industry and its many uses through various artifacts of historical, artistic, and aesthetic value. Handicraft include wooden doors, home furniture, decorative boxes, column, capital, crafts, tool, chairs, and cabinet. These wood are associated with multiple functions and feature tinted, engraved, masharabia or inlaid silver and ivory decoration. Il y a ici les trois éléments pour entrer au musée, le côté historique et le côté esthétique et artistique des objets, artistique, esthétique et historique.
So yeah, you have a free index to have an object go into a museum. So the historical part, the artistic and the aesthetic value.
D'accord.
The communication is just 20 minutes. Is necessary to conclude now.
Ah, c'est 20. Ok. J'ai lu 40, j'ai vu.
20 plus les questions.
Ah, ok. Ok. Also, the traditional craft office are choose a cultural heritage that bears witness to the city history and preserve its identity. Ancestral know-how have been preserved and transmitted from generation to generation by finding its material witness in museum. I have 5 minutes, and the craft of museum, a development lever to be valued and promoted. Traditional crafts have in a mutual and reciprocal interdependence with the economic and tourism sectors. On the one hand, crafts have a significant influence on economic activity by creating jobs, attracting tourists, and stimulating foreign and domestic trade through the marketing of their work. On the other hand, tourism play an important role in promoting crafts through financial and administrative support for craftspeople, the creation of tourist circuits, the introduction of quality, etc. The Moroccan government is one of the main actors in the fast crafts industry, given the project launched in the city, including the creation of the Ain-Qba Industrial Estate, the creation of the Fes Specialty Institute for Traditional Art, the development of the Fes Medina, the renovation of Batha Museum, and the promotion of domestic and foreign trade. Difficulty, je vais pas. The crafts in Fes are positioned at the cross road of their complementarity fields, art, heritage, and development. In this context of the link between crafts and tourism, this field required mutability over time and synchronic immutability. In any case, and through the interest shown in the crafts phase, the following is guaranteed. One, perpetuation of traditional artistic creativity, preservation of tangible and intangible heritage, transmission of ancestral know-how, promotion of local and national cultural identity, contribution to economic development. Thank you for your attention.
So any questions? Anyone? Oh, yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to know how is transmission to the old craftsmen and women and the young people in Morocco?
Venez ici pour faire la traduction, on va traduire. Alors qu'il faut traduire aussi. Quelle était la question? Est-ce que c'est la transmission?
Pardon, oui, comment on transmet du coup aux anciens mais aussi aux jeunes?
Oui, la transmission se passe à travers les mails.
Les quoi?
Les artisans,
oui.
Ils ont des jeunes avec eux
oui.
qui apprennent le travail et qui les aident. Et ils s'initient petit à petit jusqu'à ce qu'ils ont aussi les techniques de ce travail. Chaque professionnel est là avec lui des jeunes.
So it seems that each professional has a student, like a younger with him or her, to like pass this know-how, this knowledge. So it's really common. C'est commun, hein, du coup, hein, ça se fait beaucoup.
Ils l'aident et chaque fois ils apprennent les techniques.
So the younger help the craftsmen, and that's how they learn the ways of working a material.
So there is a lot of young who want to learn this.
Il y a beaucoup de jeunes alors qui.
Oui, ils sont
yes.
sur place.
And they are in the Medina, in the workshops, right?
En plus de cet institut que j'ai mentionné,
yeah, and there is also an institute, right, that Mohamed evoked fastly. Yeah, so there is an institute, for traditional art also.
Thank you very much. I had a chance to visit Morocco and see that beauty in reality. So I am really impressed with your skills, techniques, and the competences, in fact. And I wanted to ask about the fact how open are the craftsmen for some innovation, for some new techniques, new patterns, and do you try to develop this kind of projects which involve craftsmen and designers?
Est-ce que les artisans sont très ouverts à toutes ces innovations? Est-ce que les artisans sont très ouverts à toutes ces innovations?
Artisans.
Oui, de Fès, et puis aussi du coup à inclure peut-être le design dans leur travail.
Oui, ils sont tous ouverts. Il y a déjà l'introduction de l'informatique.
Ok.
Ils travaillent avec les dessins qui sont faits par les informaticiens et ils essayent de les appliquer.
Okay, so yeah, we are seeing some innovations in the traditional arts and craft because, for example, some patterns are already made in computers by technicians and computer people. So it's getting there, right?
Et s'il y a des demandes spécifiques, ils essayent de s'adapter pour les préparer.
Okay, and basically what the craftsmen do is that they readapt to the demand. So if there is a particular demand, they will try to deliver as much as possible.
Et c'est ce que j'ai expliqué par la mutabilité et l'immutabilité. Ça veut dire qu'il y a toujours des permanences, mais il y a toujours des
Yeah.
mutations aussi.
This was the idea when talking about mutations. There are some things that are really within the heritage, that are already being done, right? That are part of a tradition, and then you have the part where you are trying to innovate and implement new ways.
Il y a une chose importante, c'est comment garantir la survie des objets traditionnels. Et c'est l'une des façons, c'est cette possibilité de s'ouvrir qui va garantir toujours cette permanence. Sinon, on a les problèmes que ça meurt.
So Mohamed is also saying that it's a way of being able to keep your tradition, also to adapt, because if you don't adapt to new ways of doing things, you might lose your know-how, in fact. It's okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. I also had the opportunity to be amazed, especially by Berber art, where I visited and I bought specific jewelry pieces, and I'm also amazed by this a little bit break between the urban and the rural. And I wanted to ask you if you can speak more about the conditions that make some art and crafts stay in the rather rural area than move to the urban ones, or not, or if there's a sort of flow between these two different kind of worlds. And that was the first question. And
Ok, merci. Une après l'autre, ça sera bien. Ça y est, la première question, c'était de savoir donc, comment est-ce qu'on a de l'art rural et puis de l'art plutôt qui reste... voilà, merci. Et est-ce qu'il y a des dialogues entre ces deux types d'art ou pas?
Oui. Alors, pour l'évolution des arts, comme je dis dans la présentation, il est lié à l'évolution des cités.
Oui.
C'est historique. Et cet art, il a une influence étrangère. Ça veut dire, surtout on avait parlé de Maurice et aussi ce qui veut être de l'Est. Alors l'évolution des cités et l'influence étrangère, c'est la caractéristique du citadin.
Okay, so it comes from the rural art.
Urban art.
Okay, the urban art.
Urban, il a une évolution des cités et l'influence.
Okay. So the cities are evolving, and with them the influences also. The Mauritian, for example, the Spanish also, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. So you have this rural part of the art, which involves with the city, in fact, with the influences, with the people coming in and out.
Et pour le rural,
oui.
Il n'est pas ouvert aux influences, sinon que les gens ils vivent dans des montagnes et il est interne. C'est pas influence extérieure.
And for the rural, in fact, you don't have that many people coming from the exterior. You have craftsmen which are in the mountains, for example, really isolated. So you don't have any influences, outside influences on the art.
Ça veut dire que l'art rural, il est plus originel que l'art citadin.
Yeah, so it does mean that the rural art is more original, traditional.
Yeah, I noticed that in the Berber art, that it's unique pieces. You cannot find them even at the market, at souk and something else. Yeah, thank you. And the second question was more about, I was intrigued when you mentioned the fact that there was this mix of, like, for example, Jewish and Muslim identity in arts and crafts. Do you have any example of where these different cultures merge in the creation of design and crafts pieces, or were they kept rather separate in their symbolism and traditions and craft techniques.
Est-ce qu'il y a des mélanges du coup entre les... Vous parliez de l'art juif et musulman.
Oui.
Voilà, est-ce qu'il y a des moments où ça se mélange ou est-ce que c'est vraiment deux choses très séparées?
Non, c'est le même parce qu'il y a les artisans juifs,
Mhm.
c'est eux qui sont connus dans les bijoux,
Mhm.
c'est eux qui les fabriquent.
Ok.
Ça veut
C'est
dire que
séparé.
c'est une culture. Les bijoux, ils ne sont préparés que par les juifs.
Ok.
Et ils intègrent les signes originaux, comme par exemple les signes berbères.
Oh, ok.
Ça veut dire c'est pas séparé, c'est mélangé.
Okay, so it's kind of mixed because, for example, the Jewish people tend to only create jewelry, but they will integrate in their jewelry pieces some Muslim patterns, right? Or Berber.
Tradition.
Yeah.
Ouais.
Yeah.
My question is about Medina. Why would we move the craftsmanship out of the Medina? Aren't this a part of the Medina identity?
Donc quand on dit qu'on déplace l'art hors dehors de la Médina, est-ce que c'est pas une partie de l'héritage de la Médina et du coup c'est dommage de le retirer de là ou...
Ça, c'est très important, c'est une bonne question aussi. L'idée, c'est qu'il y a des activités polluantes. On avait mis ça en avant. On avait dit qu'il y a des activités qui sont polluantes et qu'il faut déplacer sur des raisons qu'on avait présentées.
Ok.
Mais on avait essayé, comme on a fait pour la délanderie, pour Ansouer,
Oui.
on avait laissé quelques activités à un pourcentage qui n'est pas trop grand.
Pas énorme, okay. So they had to remove the craftsman field outside of the Medina because of, in fact, sustainable problems. Polluants, est-ce qu'il y a un polluant en anglais? Because it was too polluted at the end because of the project that they used, for example. So they had to remove a part of it to keep the Medina intact, but they managed to still have a small percentage of the craftsmanship inside.
So,
Only.
par exemple, qu'on a vu la délanderie.
So the brassware, for example, with copper, the men banging on copper, this is a part that they could keep in the Medina.
I have a question. So, where comes from the Spanish influences? It comes from craftsmen who comes from Spain and go into Morocco, or there is object who comes Spain and go to Morocco. So, or there is an historical link between these two countries.
Oui, comment l'héritage espagnol est arrivé?
Oui, c'est qu'il y avait des artisans qui sont à une période importés parce qu'il y a un développement. Il faut commencer avec une idée. Il y a un développement en Espagne de l'art. Ça s'est développé. Et il y avait deux raisons. La première, on avait importé des artisans à une période. Et la deuxième, il y a des immigrations qui sont venues de l'Espagne. Historiquement, c'est connu. Et il y a des artisans qui sont rentrés et ils ont développé l'art.
So at first, the craftsmanship really developed, or the arts and craft field really developed in Spain, and then with migrations, craftsmen coming into Spain and craftsmen coming from Spain to Fez, for example, it mixed the two cultures.
The Fez is only traditional art in Morocco or not? The Fez.
Yeah.
Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres villes, c'est ça?
Tu demandes s'il y a d'autres villes?
Non, s'il y a d'autres l'art de art Fez, it's the
Il
land
demande
art.
si l'art de Fez est situé qu'à Fez ou si ça s'est exporté ailleurs.
Oui, l'exportation, elle existe.
Oui.
Je n'ai pas pu présenter parce que je n'ai pas du temps. Mais elle est exportée à l'extérieur. Et il y a même ici, pour montrer ça, puisque ça rentre dans la question, rapidement, les exports. Voilà, c'est ça l'export. C'est en 2021.
Yeah, so it's really exported. You have more than half of the pottery which is exported, for example. But of course, it is born in Fez, so in Morocco.
Okay.
And there is only this kind of art of Morocco, the art fez, or there is other art.
Oh.
I don't know, the Marrakech art or.
Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres types d'art du Maroc
Oui, toutes les médinas, ils ont leur
Ok.
art. Et pour les pays, c'est ça. Pour la France, c'est
Ok.
23%.
So really each Medina has their type of arts. Here we focused about Fez, sorry, but each Medina, yes, has its specialty. Yeah.
There is another question.
Thank you so much.
Merci.
So thank you so much.